Oh, does it work now? Hello? Can you guys hear me? The game audio, which is not much right now, but just making sure everything works. Hello? So I really need to check if this is working because I updated my like audio system recently. I don't really know what to call it. I guess like the microphone, like the software that came with the microphone that I have. I updated it recently and it completely reset everything. So let me know if everything still sounds normal, basically. Before I actually start doing anything. But it all looks fine at the moment. I mean, I can't really look at what the audio sounds like. Hello, hello. So on Twitch, is it working? It should be working exactly the same as it is on YouTube. But just making sure, like multiple opinions. Does everything sounds normal? Game audio and music and my voice. And if it's all good, then we can get started. So, hello everyone. Welcome back. Yeah, I think we're good. Your master. Yep. Like weirdly ominous music in the background. Hello, welcome to the stream. Let me know if all the audio stuff sounds right. That centipede was in that spot for a while longer. This song is loud. There. Maybe that's better. So, you know, some of you might have missed me talking about this like a few streams back, but I've decided to do a thing where at the start of every stream, I'm gonna do 1 Spearmaster attempt, basically. Hello, hello, welcome. So we're gonna just do 1 attempt and see how far it makes. I can make it, and then I'll go back to the Hunter after this. I'm just looking a bit purple today. You know, this could take like 5 minutes, this could take like 30 minutes, who knows. But I think that if you can get 1, you know, even if it takes 30 minutes, hey, that's like 1 good attempt at Spearmaster, you know. So I'd say it's like worth doing that. Doesn't mean that I'm doing attempts very infrequently, but I think that's fine. This is a good start. Game audio might be big. Actually, no, it was just the song, right? The song is just kind of loud. So yeah, it's fine, probably. Rock again. Oh, here's a spear and a rock. We're fine. I think I'm gonna try to always hold on to 2 spears. I think that's better for dealing with lizards. I mean, it's not really if you're trying to fight them before like parrying. It's good. By parrying, I mean when you get bitten by, or you get grabbed by a lizard and you can throw something at them to escape. Okay. So remember, we're getting a Ultra Mask here. I thought it was just bad. King Vulture. First time those up throws have ever actually worked. Goodness. Oh my gosh, but I can't. Oh, did not mean to do that. But he's dead, so I can just. Oh, physics speed is doubled. Does that reset? Yes, it does reset. Oh, shoot. Well, he was ready. I didn't hear the sound of the bite. Well, okay. Yeah, DevTools is translated. Okay. That was a really a good like vulture fight. That was really sloppy. Like I hit his mask so many times. I should have dealt a lot more damage. And then they like tried to fly away and they were kind of successful, but not quite. It was a whole mess. And then I dragged them into the room and that glitch happened. Game Industry tried, didn't like it that much. Back and forth between RTS, tower defense, and automation game. Well, if you're just on the first level, it definitely gets more complex. If you're comparing Ministry to Factorio, although I don't know much about Factorio, it is definitely less complex, but probably because, you know, you are balancing more different types of like genres. Although Factorio also has like tower defense stuff, right? Yeah, there's RTS stuff, definitely. But in terms of just like the factory building, it's actually kind of simple. And there's definitely like, you know, some degree of optimization you can do that definitely adds a lot of complexity. Because I mean, casually you don't really need that much, but then like you can like keep pushing it. Also, you don't need to be recording anymore. Also, the stream is dying. I think it's just lagging right now. But you should still be able to hear me. That's fun. Okay, I think it's back. More of a timer to give you a reason to progress. Okay. Oh, really? That's like the worst place to get a wall pounce. Bit crunchy. Or like the stream. Yeah. What could you possibly be referring to? I have a lot of problems with Mindustry. I mentioned that a whole lot when I was streaming that game. I think that maybe it suffers from a bit of a lack of focus by having so many different like genres and trying to do so many different things. It kind of like isn't great at any individual thing. My version of Ministry would probably exclude the RTS stuff completely and only be factory builder tower defense. That's probably what I would prefer more. But when I'm saying RTS, I mean like there's different types of levels. There's like tower defense levels and then like base destruction levels where you're on the offense, you know. But I know that there's like a whole competitive side of the game that is like exclusively RTS. But I guess like also tower defense, but I guess like RTS already implies a bit of tower defense, you know. But that side of the game is like really hard to get into. It's like very, very complicated. I don't have an item right now, which is unfortunate. Oh, you see that? I got like a jump out of that roll that was like a bit faster than normal. That's funny. I also think that Industry's progression is maybe a little bit slow. Because I guess that's the point of like these factory builder games, is that you unlock stuff over time and it gets more complex, right? But I think like some like extremely basic and like basic mechanics that you kind of expect to see, you know, you don't even know that they exist until you like unlock them, and it's like, oh, now we can finally do this thing that I wanted to be doing this whole time. Also, you should have a spear here. I could have managed my items better by like putting my like spear on my back and then picking up other items, so I could save the spear for when I actually need it. This is just practice. I don't know when I'll do real attempts, and there's other things that I'm planning other than Rand World in the near future, potentially tomorrow, although I'm not like fully decided on that. And this part of the run, I really need to learn. Oops, I just fumbled. Just missed grabbing the pole there. I do like doing that. That's fun though. If you have a rock, I think it's good to do an E-slide there. But yeah, hop uses too much stamina. It's like I think I might have done too little there. Like I could have done a little bit more. I don't need the pearl at all. Who knows why that even... I mean, actually, I do kind of have a decent idea of how... how the pearl warp works. Apparently it's actually duplicating the pearl and just a copy of it back at the gate or something. Maybe. It's complicated. No, I realized I didn't have an item there. I guess for this jump, whoops, thank you, DevTools. For this jump, you don't need an item. Ooh, and then, yeah. I want to see, is it possible to make this jump? Yes, you don't even need an item, but that's much more difficult. But also, Ministry and Factorio have a very different approach to the overall structure of the game, because Factorio is all like one big map, right? So you're supposed to do it on the first pull and then do a slide pounce here and then mess it up and fall down here. Because in Ministry, you're only ever building for this one level, and then once that level is done, you know, just move on to the next. But Factorio is like you're constantly like working towards like that's explosive spear. I shouldn't make too many comparisons. Yeah, I have that issue too with tower defense games in general, not just Industry, but definitely has it where your defense is like definitely strong enough to beat the rest of the waves, which you can do pretty quickly if you know what you're doing. And you just sit there and you're like, well, like GG. Oh, I don't have a grub. Where'd it go? Actually, I thought I put it in my stomach. Well, it doesn't matter for this run, obviously, but I think I still did it wrong. You're supposed to swallow the neuron and hold on to the thing, whatever it's called. But yeah, I think that's just a problem with tower defense games. That not many do a great job at like fixing. Where, especially in games where it's like a level approach, where it's like you do a level and you beat it and you go on to the next level. No, there's sometimes where it's like, okay, my defense is like strong enough to win, definitely. Now we're just waiting. And since it is a tower defense game, you're not actually like doing anything. You're just placing the towers. Once the towers have been placed, you have nothing left to do, right? I guess if the difficulty is constantly increasing at a rate such that you need to constantly be improving your defenses, then you're not But I feel like that depends a lot on your like skill or your strategy. If you're very good at the game and you have a good strategy, then you get to that point much sooner than just sitting around, you know. I mean, that does sound nice. Create X amount of some resource, and maybe like it's a new one that you've recently unlocked, so it's like, okay, you need to make a lot of it. But then now that you have a lot of it, you can like unlock all of the new tech that uses that item, or like just make use of it and like figure out how it works. But I think the reason for the waves is just because it's a tower defense. They're like, well, it's a tower defense game, you know, that has to be the objective, and then the factory building is kind of just on the side. Good tower defense games make optional or optimal strategies require frequent action. What are your examples of good tower defense games? I feel like there's like 5 of them total. I mean, I like tower defense games. That was my like go-to genre on like flash game websites. It's like there's a lot of like flash tower defense games for sure. How many like full like Steam release games like tower defense are there that are actually like really high quality? Because I feel like it's very very like indie genre. I feel like it's very easy to make a tower defense, and it's hard to make a very like fancy looking, well, not looking, but like a AAA tower defense game doesn't really make sense. I feel like BTD6. I think BTD6 is the best tower defense game. That is at least that is like the typical format of a track that enemies move down, and you place towers next to the track to kill the enemies, right? But I think that it depends on how you want to play the game. Because if given two options, where one option is more fun, but maybe not very efficient or not like the most optimal solution, or the other option, which would be, you know, the like best possible option that is like very efficient, but it's not like fun, players usually pick the more optimal solution. Unless you're like going out of your way to be like, okay, I want to like do something different. I want to like just enjoy this. Let's like try a different strategy. Yeah. So maybe like ability usage in BT6, let's say, right? Abilities are powerful because like the difficulty of the game is not consistent. There's like difficulty spikes and parts that are like really easy. So of course using abilities for that short-term like high damage output or whatever during those like difficulty spikes, like that's like very efficient. However, that's micro, and micro can be annoying. Like, oh, you need to look at like what are the difficult stages or waves. When is the best time to use an ability? Would I rather just place down a tower that is effective and I don't need to think about it at all? And just like win the game without trying that much? Or would I like put down a tower with a strong ability, but I constantly have to be like checking like, is this a good time to use the ability? I guess that's like, if you want to actively be playing the game, then yes, you probably would like strategies like that more. Got some challenges. I haven't really played that many challenges, but yeah, that's usually a big part of it. And like actually like, I don't know if you mean like the actual like challenge editor or like challenge browser or whatever, or if you mean like 2 mega pops, 2 towers chimps, those kind of challenges. If you mean those kind of challenges, then I understand like abilities are really useful in those kind of things where your options are really limited. But if you have a, actually, you know what? Never mind. Yeah, sometimes like the optimization is the fun part. But sometimes there's like the best solution is actually like kind of like boring or grindy, and it's like, well, time to like do that anyway because it's like the best way to win. I need to play BTD6 someday. It's not the best stream game because it's kind of idle. You know, you do spend a lot of time sitting around. But I want to talk about that because I think it is the best tower defense. I also want to play Plants vs Zombies, the original, because I think it is also one of the best. If they read that, you get used to it. You probably don't like look at every individual little line on each of the characters. You probably just I ate a rock. You probably just see the character and recognize it from its most distinctive like parts, and you just like recognize it immediately. I just ate the rock again. There. Like Creeper World mentioned, I need to play that game too. All the games. That's actually something that I've wanted to do. Eventually for these streams, to just go through every single Creeper World game. But that is definitely a more active one because, you know, you have to be moving forward in order to, like, eventually win. But there's also problems with that. So it's like that's exactly the kind of stuff that I want to talk about. I had an idea for a tower defense game. That is, I don't know how good of an idea it is, but the idea that's kind of like an RPG, where you have like characters, and the characters have like stats and items, and you can like level them up. And they also have permadeath. So during like the tower defense portion, ow, I keep doing that. You know, the enemies will fire back at your units, and if they die, then they're dead. But you can also get like items, like you can get equipments for your units, and they can level up to get stronger. I think it's kind of I feel like I've talked about this before. It's kind of Darkest Dungeon-esque. If you know that game. Like single player MOBA. I guess that is sort of MOBA-ish. Like you would need to you could move your units around to like avoid the enemy attacks. Although that sounds like it might be a huge pain to like micromanage the position of all of your units to dodge like their attacks. So maybe it'd be more of like a positioning thing where it's like you'd have like a tank and he'd be in the front and you put your like healer and like the range damage in the back, and if your tank like takes too much damage you move them back, and maybe Assault Plant would take another close range. I don't know. But that was kind of to fix the like passiveness of tower defense games, where it's like if you're too passive, your units will just die. So you need to be engaged like constantly. There's just a spear. 3 of them so far. Sounds like an RTS. I guess it's structured like a tower defense game where there's a track that the enemies move down, and you need to like defeat them before they get to the end, right? Oops, I was not looking. But I was more inspired by MMOs, really. Okay, I'll admit I'm not very familiar with early RTS single player campaigns, which is a funny thing in like game development, where if you're inspired by a game, you're like, I'm gonna make a game that's like this one, but with like a bunch of like changes to it. You might just end up accidentally making the game that inspired the game that you're inspired by. You know, you're just going backwards. Because whereas the game that you're inspired by, whereas that game, they changed like ideas from the original formula. You know, they made it unique. You're like, okay, let's change that, and you like might go back to the original. So unless you're familiar with like every single game that exists, you know, that's always gonna happen. Not even that in that way specifically, just like accidentally taking ideas from other games. But you're always going to create something that is unique. Because once you like, if you just take like one idea from a game, you're like, I'm going to make a game that is centered around this idea. Like, okay, that might end up being really very similar, or maybe like the entire goal is to make a clone. Like, you know how many Minecraft clones are out there. But if you're actually trying to make a game and be creative, the moment you start adding like a handful of like random ideas, it's going to become unique. There's just too many combinations. Like Hollow Knight has kind of had that problem, like so many games being compared to it, but like all of them are unique, definitely. Some are probably lower quality than others, you know, but they're all unique. That was close. You think this does not equal creativity? Yeah, that's true. If you're a good designer, that's not gonna happen. Hopefully. But if the only reason you're making a game is because it's like, I'm gonna make a game that's just like that game, but that is different. I'm gonna make Terraria, but in space. And then it's like, okay, but is the game good? It's different because you're like trying to copy the spot of the game and make it unique in some way. Can't wait to do actual runs where this room is filled with spitter spiders. It's not filled, but there's like one or two of them that you might run into in the dark, so you can't really do anything about them. Oh yeah, that's fun. You have no idea what you're doing, but it just works out at the end. Oops. just wall pounce. Don't actually do that. That's like a bad strategy there for that room. I felt really confident with this run so far. Like I'm not like making like routing mistakes, like going into the wrong rooms. I did a few times, but that was like because I just wasn't paying attention at all. I was like looking at chat. You know what? I say that, but I literally just made a mistake. Just to go down here first. And I'm giving myself food because you would be like killing creatures and eating them on the real run. I think that's actually the main difference between my idea and these like RTS games, is that you probably have your own setup, like maybe your own base, like maybe your own like buildings or whatever, like econ and whatever. Like I wasn't thinking about any of that. I'm pretty much just thinking the enemies are there and your units are there, and like that's it. I actually did kind of make a lot of progress making this game. It kind of stopped though because I got a new monitor, and then like the whole game's visuals broke. Like I had a shader for drawing outlines around the sprites, but it didn't work. And honestly, I didn't know how the shader worked, so I didn't really know how to fix it. And I realized like, oh, this is actually like more complicated. Like you don't just like set up the camera and forget it. Like you're supposed to make it like change and like however, like based on like the monitor and the like resolution settings. What do I do here? I'm going to moon, and I'm just yeah, I know. Also, the UI was awful, and UI code is still the bane of my existence. I still don't really know how you're supposed to deal with like things being layered on top of each other. Shoreline threat in the right place with no threat in sight. So is it really playing in the right place? You would not be happy to hear this in a real run, because it probably means that there's either a Vulture or a Leviathan. I didn't get the jump. I'm gonna say that I'm gonna blame it on the lag. I should have been able to chain those together very easily. Hello, welcome to the stream. Okay, where's this jetfish? There has been a time where the jetfish just completely vanished. That might have just happened right now. It should be over here. Yes. Why do they feel so slow all of a sudden? I didn't get the jump. Hold up. I think this jetfish is broken. There we go. That's the funny physics. I don't know why that didn't work. Maybe because I was holding a rock or something? The cramp. Sorry, dude. I'm considering trying a new game engine. It's the one that I use at the moment is Game Maker Studio, which is very beginner friendly. And I used that like a long time ago. But that definitely helped with like learning stuff at first, but I feel like it might be holding me back now because it doesn't have much like built-in stuff. Like it has no system for UI at all. If you want to make UI, you need to like make it all in code and then open the game to see how it looks. I know that there's other engines that have like whole like UI editors and stuff. check how much cycle time I have left. That looks interesting. Not really what I was expecting. I think it's very late in the cycle. Yeah, it's just the very end. Wasn't the Hyperlight Drifter made in Game Maker? That game is sick. Hold up. What would I have eaten here? Probably like jellyfish and something in shaded, maybe? Or I would have eaten something before shaded to get more food, and then I had like 3 pips, and I only need to eat like three jellyfish. Here's a fun part of the run. I mean, Pebbles literally said that I'm not well. Surely the slug understands that. Game Maker and Unity, they both have a look to them. Not all the time. Obviously, it depends on the game, but you can definitely tell. Well, sometimes it's obvious when a game is made in like Unity. Yeah, it definitely just depends on the game. Like how much you care about the... Like, Rain World is made in Unity, right? This does not look like any Unity game at all. It doesn't look like any other game in general. But mostly, because apparently there's like a lot of stuff made just for Rain World that like wasn't like part of Unity. Like they didn't use any like preset stuff. Like they basically made everything from scratch. Like, because part of the game was already made in another engine, right? And then it got transferred over to Unity. Oops, I'm not gonna go that way because I don't know what to do. Hello. Welcome to the stream. This is world record pace, isn't it? I don't have an item. This is a practice run. I totally messed up that room. I want to figure out how to get into like the cycle without doing the the backflip at the start. I mean, I didn't even try to do the backflip, but there's a really nice chain of like roll pounces and stuff. I really like that wall pounce there. I'm probably just gonna use that over like using a spear like normal. Also, this is not in-game music. I didn't even like process it for a second, but it felt very natural. I didn't even have an item to throw boost with. That was a bad roll pounce. Probably should have done it earlier. Hello, welcome to the stream. Oh, that's bad. Keep standing. Well, this is not the last run. Do plenty more runs after this. Mostly practice runs. If that's the kind of jump you want to get. Nova Drift, I don't know how Nova Drift looks so clean. It's so smooth. Okay. 4708. What does that kind of time look like? So world record is 48:21. So a little bit faster than world record in best case scenario. That's concerning. I did make a few obvious mistakes, like in Shaded. Yes, so Hunter Story Percent is the category that I'm doing. And you need to talk to Pebbles and then bring the neuron to Moon, and then go to the depths. That is Hunter Story. This is helped by this being a practice run. I have creatures disabled with a mod, and it means that I can just focus on practicing movement without dealing with creature RNG. Okay, win Hunter Story. Yep, got world record. Job. I don't have this movement down very well. I just accidentally killed the Voltrigo. We're just doing practice runs at the moment. So I don't even know the movement of some areas very well. I feel like I need to practice the beginning of the run more, Shaded more, and maybe Subterranean too. This room is so annoying. So far, from a movement perspective, this run is very fun. But from a creature perspective, I'm worried. Less confident about that. Especially Subterranean. Like, there's a middle section of the run where you have the Vulture Mask, and that doesn't sound too bad, right? But it's everything else. It's like the beginning of the run, the Spitter Spiders and Shaded, the Leviathans and Shoreline, Scavengers in general. Also, Iced, how's your Monk story going? How are those runs? I'm not really watching the streams that often, mostly because I'm a little bit tired of Rainworld at the moment, and so streaming the game is enough. That's enough Rainworld, you know, for me in 1 week. Oh, okay. I was thinking about throw boosting there, but I didn't think it was necessary, but I guess I should have. $114. That's good. I don't know if I want to try to improve that. I feel like I need to, because it's so close to sub hour. I did that somewhere. It took a very long time for me to get a Deathless run, despite being Monk. But I think that if you want to speedrun the game and you don't want to sweat too much, Monk is pretty chill. I have a bad habit of hyper optimizing everything that I do. I'll watch other speedrunners and be like, you're not using optimal strategies. Are you even speedrunning the game? I don't know how other speedrunners feel about that though. Like how many people in this community are just speedrunning it because it's a fun way to like challenge themselves, or are they actually like trying to like get good times, trying to like, you know, improve their runs, get world record maybe. I don't know. Because I know that, you know, like for a handful of speedruns, like the story percent runs, like there's ways to improve them. There's ways to, you know, there's like some optimal routes that you can take, or some like strategies or skips. And I'll see other runners not take advantage of every single one of those strategies. It's like, how much do I care about trying to help them? And how much do they care? Do I want to be that guy who's like, you're doing everything wrong? You should actually be taking this route, and you should learn how to do this skip, and like spend a few hours practicing the run with no creatures on to learn the movement. But they're like, I'm just playing random, you know. Aye. That was not good. I keep doing this wrong. Yep. I apologize if I have made Rivulet's story too competitive. Or downpour categories in general. Do you know when the DLC will be released? Yep, it will be released on, kind of like in the beginning of next year, maybe around February. Yep, I know everything. Also, this is where you'd want to get a mask, but I can't do that right now. No, I don't know when the DLC is gonna release. No one knows. But maybe the developers. I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't know either. Waiting is long. I don't think we're even waiting yet. We know that there's another DLC that's gonna release eventually. Okay, you don't need to like what does waiting even mean? Just like live your life normally, and eventually it's gonna come out, and that's cool. But if it wasn't announced, and if you know, if they never announced a new DLC, or maybe if they even said that they're never gonna release more content for Rain World, then your life would be exactly the same up until the points that the DLC would release. That's how I think of it. Same with Silksong. If I didn't know Silksong was gonna release, I would not care. Maybe people would be like, "Hollow Knight should have a sequel. It was so like successful and it was such a good game. It needs a sequel. Where is it?" And I guess there was also like the Kickstarter goal, like the extra character, right? But let's assume that none of that happened, and Hollow Knight was just a game, and they released it, and that was it. And it was like, okay. I guess it's cool to encourage people to try out the speedrun. But I definitely think that there is a point where if you try to optimize it too much, it no longer becomes fun. Alright, see ya. Thanks for stopping by. I don't know how some people do it in some other speedrunning communities. How they can just, like, play one speedrun forever. Like, some people, because personally, I've been doing, like, a whole variety of different categories. Like, I've basically been playing all of the Downpour characters. I played a bit of Monk, a bit of Survivor, here's Hunter, you know. I've basically been speedrunning every single character in the game, and for each character there might be a few different categories that I've tried out. But for other games, it's like, alright, we're just running any percent, and that's it. And the run is like 8 minutes long, and we're just grinding it out for like months. For like 2 seconds saved on world record. Those kind of people are crazy. I want this spear. Probably it's just because of the way Rainworld is. Like I've said many times before that it is not. It is like the anti-speedrun game. Like there are great things about the speedruns, like the movement system is like perfect. There's a lot of like diverse environments. There's like the music is good. But some like I guess it's the creatures. I'm pretty much only talking about the creatures, but yeah, the element of RNG that they add, and the way that you're like supposed to play the game, there's not really a like way that it's supposed to. There's no intended way to play Rainworld, but the way that it encourages you to play is the exact opposite of a speedrun, which makes sense. I mean that's usually the case for a lot of games. Like they don't want you to skip all the content. But Rainworld is actually kind of like that already, where playing normally and speedrunning are somewhat similar in the sense that you're just traversing the world. You're not skipping any content, you're not making use of game-breaking glitches, except for, like, sort of karma caching a little bit, right? And you get Guardian skip for any percent, but those are, like, very, like, minor cases. I guess I can't really talk much about that. The only game I've ever speedrun is Rain World. Who am I to make comparisons between Rain World and other speedrunning games, you know? So I said, like the RNG is the main problem with Rain World, right? But what if it's actually makes it a lot better? Because if a game is perfectly consistent, where it's the same exact run every single time, you know, there's not as much variety, and every mistake is your own fault. Oops, don't move around too much in here. Like, if you're not able to improve, if you're not able to get world record, it's because you're bad. It's because of the mistakes that you're making, and, you know, lack of consistency and such. You know, maybe that's a good thing. It probably is a good thing, right? It means that if you practice more, you will get a better time eventually. Maybe that's why Rain World is like better as like a casual speedrunning game. Where there's people who speedrunning it, but they're not going for the best possible time because they know that's unreasonable. You know, you just kind of play fast, have fun with the movement, but then, you know, enjoy the chaos of the world. See what happens, what creatures show up, what kind of weird interactions you run into. I mean, imagine this was the speedrun, what I'm doing right now. No creatures, just movement. And I've been able to focus a lot on just talking with the chat. Maybe if this was the actual run, I wouldn't be talking as much. I'd be more focused actually on the actual speedrun, right? But this is probably just how it is for some games where it's like, because Rain World is actually kind of odd in the fact that you're not guaranteed to finish a run, not at all. And I guess that's true of a lot of speedrun games, right? If you make a major mistake, then, you know, it might lose so much time that it's basically necessary to reset, right? Let's say, like Celeste, right? If you die in Celeste, if you make a mistake and you touch a spike and you're dead, then you lose, what, like 10 seconds at most? You go back to the beginning of the room, you try it again, maybe be a bit more careful, and you lost like 10 seconds. Okay. If you're going for a world record, maybe 10 seconds is a huge amount, and you should reset in that case. Or if you're playing casually, who cares about 10 seconds? Just keep going. And so no matter what happens in the run, you will make it to the end eventually. It means you can just start a run and just see what time you get at the end, right? Whereas Rain World's like, you have no idea what's going to happen. You might spend like months trying to beat one speedrun just to get a single time and not be able to do it. It's why that's partially why I've been hesitant to encourage speedrunning too much. Whatever that even means. Like, usually if someone is interested in speedrunning, yeah, I'll follow along, but maybe I'll try to give advice where, if they want it. But I'm not like actually like trying to get people into the speedrunning scene. I feel like if you're enjoying the game casually, you probably won't enjoy speedrunning. I feel like if you're the kind of person to like, if you're interested in speedrunning, you're just gonna do it yourself, right? But if it was like Celeste, right, I would encourage speedrunning a lot. Maybe I don't have much experience, but I probably would be more likely to encourage it for a game like Celeste, where it is almost like the end game of Celeste, right? Like you beat the game and it's like, okay, what do I do next? Well, you should speedrun it. It's kind of designed for it. Like there's like shortcuts like built into the levels. There's like a lot of like movement tech that is like always accessible in the game, even if it doesn't teach it to you. It's not like you have to unlock these movement abilities, you can just always do them. It's very useful in speedruns. This song is playing in this room. Isn't that interesting? That's funny. That's funny movement. That's just about the worst thing that could have happened there. Hold up. At least I've gotten that a few more times than before when I was starting off this category. I actually just did a help without an item. Video cult? I've literally never heard of that before. I know that they had some sort of something going on with those like music videos, whatever those were. That was something. "3D Rain World," basically. That was a separate thing. The song isn't very fitting for this area, is it? Maybe, hold up, let's do a little testing. Is a normal roll better here? Yeah, definitely. So remember, actually stay in the shelter first. Yeah. Casually went and made a full game OST. When did all this happen? I haven't heard about this at all. Is this like a recent thing, or is this like several years ago? Oh, right after the... Okay, that kind of makes sense. That's kind of around where there was like very little Rainbow related stuff. That was all bad. So basically what it sounds like is that they had like no idea what to do. And they were just messing around doing random things that like maybe didn't really come together. Because the most recent one, which Airframe Ultra, that's also completely unrelated, right? Or the chosen one. I don't know why that sound was so loud. So remember that it's important to get an item here. For this next room, there's not much time. Get one. Oh, that's bad. Don't do a fast roll here. And the stream is really laggy for some reason. I was thinking. Actually, that doesn't sound like it'd help at all. Like the way at the beginning of the Hunter run, you can teleport the pearl. If you could do the same thing with the neuron, but I imagine that there's no reason to do that because you're gonna keep it in your stomach anyway, right? It's natural eating position. You know, I turned off that setting on YouTube. You should be able to post links now, so I don't know why that still is happening. Unless I need to change it for every single stream that I do. Nah, I'll look at that. Nope, the setting is off. So that's strange. It's gonna be way more stressful to try to do that while the kelp is there. If you mess it up, you're just dead. It's not like there's any other parts of the game that are like that, though. Is YouTube being bad? Nope, I don't know. Oh, it's Twitch blocks it too. I'm sorry. Let's try going up this time. Okay, well, I'm seeing why you don't go up. I think you'd run into the same problem the other path, though. Let's go this way. Trying to eat my dinner, and this fish keeps slapping me. What does that even mean? I feel like I'm missing context. And then there's scavengers here, and they just kill you instantly. Oh, right. That was about what was happening then. Right. I didn't see that message for a while. There's this one video on YouTube, which I have no idea how I'd find it now, but some guy was making procedural animation in 3D, and they had a whole lot of examples of like giant like monsters and like robots and stuff, and it actually looked really interesting. And I think it kind of showed me that, you know, there's potential for procedural animation in 3D. I mean, beyond like how it's already used, of course. Like there's like a little bit, like a few use cases in 3D, but like, large creatures, I feel like they work way better with procedural animation in 3D than like traditional animation. Because the way that they move around, it really needs to interact with the environments around them. Whoops, sorry. Just carry this guy all the way here with me and just to murder him. Not my intention, but... Sometimes like large creatures in 3D games can look kind of clunky if they're not animated well. Now that I'm thinking about it a little bit more, there's actually like some decent examples that I can think of that actually do look very good. That probably don't use like, well, maybe there is procedural animation. I don't know. But I was thinking of Shadow of the Colossus. I don't think. I mean, I haven't seen that game too much, but I don't think it looks jank. I think it looks totally fine, right? But also, most of the environments are like pretty flat, right? So it doesn't really matter. Doesn't really matter how they move around. It's gonna look fine. What do I do? Maybe just one more full run, or maybe I want to focus more on, like, I kind of feel like I'm confident with some of the like more difficult sections. Like Shaded isn't really that bad. Like the one room that I was worried about has that really nice slide pounce chain they can do. Maybe I'll try with creatures. Yeah, sure. Let's do a real attempt. Which means I'm not gonna know what to do. Since they kind of do it IRL anyway. Is that a rain or insects a rain world reference? But most of the time, I think when thinking about procedural animations in 3D games where it's on the player, I think usually that those are the kind of like jank, like ragdoll physics kind of games. If you know what I'm talking about. But She messed up. What? Did I do something wrong? Hold on. I feel like that's concerning. Do I have a mod on still? Why did that happen? Honestly, inverse kinematics, I don't think they figured it out yet. Like even in the like most simple case where you're using it on a character's legs so that they stand on the ground if it's uneven, or like walking upstairs, I feel like that still looks jank so much. Like so often, like if you like wiggle your character around a little bit, their like legs will like kind of go all over the place. Or if you're on like stairs, it still kind of looks jank. Or like VR chat. If you don't have like full body tracking, obviously they don't know what your legs are doing, like the 3D model. So just people walking around can look like super jank. Excuse me. I think that's probably... I would have expected that that's a place where they would have figured out the most. Alright. Dude, twice? Now this room has centipedes. I guess Brainworld is kind of in the like ragdoll physics, right? Like unless you're actively like, well, like you're kind of like flopping around all over the place, right? And just moving around is basically just like telling you which direction to go, right? I'm worried about overshooting that Sunday. Nice turn storage. Cool, that room is fun. Again, I don't have a spear here. Oops, I did this in the wrong order. You know what's funny? Like 5 years ago, I made a game where you play as the worms from Terraria. If you don't know what the worms are in Terraria are like, they're like segmented. They're made up of a bunch of segments, and they can move around their head, and then the rest of the body kind of like trails behind it. Each like segment connected to the last, right? And so I recreated that system. And what's funny is that I didn't know at the time, but that was actually kind of a form of inverse kinematics. That is like a way to do it. That I like kind of figured out without even knowing. Because it like each like segment was connected to the last, and like the way that you could control it is like have one anchored on a point, and then the other like able to move around, and the rest of the segments will kind of like chain together in the correct way between those 2 points. Maybe I'm just making this stuff up. And there's also like better ways to do it to make it more like accurate. But like for like the worm thing, you obviously don't need that. Please don't. Sucks for you. I know that I'm not like fighting anything, but I'm glad I'm Hunter and not Spear Master. I feel like that would have made things harder. Also, I don't have any items here. Okay, we're fine. him chill. He's chill. He's also holding grenades. Okay, he isn't chill, but we're fine. We're fine. I feel like I shouldn't be getting away with this. What was that game at? The worm game? It's basically exactly what I said. It's Terraria, but you're playing as a worm. I don't know why I came up with that idea in the first place. But you have like a full... Okay, this is gonna sound like excessive because I like feature creeps the hell out of it. And I never actually made the whole thing, but basically like a full procedurally generated world. And you can traverse around as a worm, and you would like collect items, and you could, for each of your like body segments, you could equip like a different module. So you could equip like a turret, and that would like automatically target enemies around you. You could equip things that increase your speed or your health, or give you like other stats. And so you could basically like, your whole body is like your accessory slots in Terraria basically. And you could, or your items, or like basically whatever. And so there's a lot of like customization there. But here's the problem. You're a worm. So like, how do you prevent the player character from just traversing wherever they want? Or you could just like dig through the whole planet if you want, right? Oops, I didn't mean to do that. Oh my gosh, that's my only spear. So I was thinking there'd be like some like terrain types. What? Are you okay? Are you good, dude? Why can I not hit you? Some like terrain types would be too like tough for you to dig through, and you need to like upgrade yourself. That would be like the progression. And I came up with like a whole map. Like I can still like explain the entire map by memory. Why? Okay, this is like a weird thing that vultures do sometimes. If I had 2 spears and the vulture wasn't freaking out, this would be done already. Like what? How is that missing? But also, don't fall off, please. There we go. They fixed themselves. Goodness. That only took like 2 minutes. And I fell again. So the world map would basically have like a surface area, right? I mean, basically the beginning of it is very simple. Like surface, like forest maybe, and then like there's caves below it. And then below the caves, there's like these like dark caves, which is actually kind of similar to Minecraft now that I think about it. But the dark caves have a tougher stone, so you need to upgrade before you like delve into the deep caves. But there's like better resources down there, right? Actually, do I remember it well? I think I'm missing something. Maybe there's another biome below those caves. Maybe there is. But then there's a point where you go down far enough where there's like a huge just void. It just like all of the rock just like gives way to nothing. And this is not Rain World. Eventually you basically just fall. You basically just fall until you end up in this like void area, like at the bottom of the world. Not void that is in Rain World. Yet again, I didn't even know about Rain World, I think, when I was making this. But think of it like Hollow Knight void, right? Like dark and empty. And the problem is that if you fall down into the void, you wouldn't be able to make it back up, right? because you can only like dig through the ground, right? So if you fall that distance, you can't get back up, and basically that'd be a whole sequence of the game where you need to figure out how to like climb back up out of the void. And on the surface, back up there, there is a big mountain to the right of the world, and maybe something to the left. I forgot about that, honestly. Maybe I don't know the world map that well, but I know that if you go really high up, eventually you find a way to fly. You can find like a floating world, not like Terraria's like floating islands, but like a whole like biome that is like just like floating up there, and you can only access it once you can fly. Rubicon, but you're the centipedes. Now, if you think about it a bit, it does sound like a complete copy of Terraria. But maybe you being a worm makes up for that, you know. And I'm sure that there's other ideas that I'm forgetting about. But this is what I end up doing, where I'm like, I come up with an entire like idea and like structure for the game, and then it never gets made. Probably because I didn't know how to do procedural generation. I think I have a better idea now, but there's still a lot of details that are like very complicated. Finish run. This is my first attempt, by the way, of an actual run. That is the practice run. The vulture was being really weird, and it took like 10 minutes to get the mask. That's not fair. It took like over a minute. They're just being annoying. There's a vulture in here. Okay, I need that spear. You know what's great? You know what's wonderful? There's no oh gosh, that's not wonderful. There's no scavengers up here. Giant flying worm with turrets. See, that's what I was thinking. I also realized that I have no idea how to create like enemy AI, because if you think about it, in Terraria they're actually like incredibly simple. Most of the enemies are like just like walk in your general direction. They don't have any pathfinding. They don't have any like vertical movement, and a lot of time they get stuck. Like in most of the caves, the enemies can't actually get to you. And I was thinking like I actually want to make combat like interesting. But also, how do you make combat interesting? If you're like climbing through the walls, right? I was thinking like you would jump out of the ground and your turrets would fire, right? Like, should you be able to be hurt when you're in the walls? When you're climbing through the ground or crawling, digging? Yes. When you're digging through the ground, should enemies be able to hit you? Because would you be able to see like the attacks? There's a lot of questions that I never really got around to answering. We love not playing Sphere Master. unfortunate. Oh, and then you messed that up? There is a Flash game where you play as a worm and you eat everything. I don't know if that's what you're referring to. Yeah, that's probably the one. Also, I want everyone to know, if you're playing Hunter Story, you want to stand right here. Because Pebbles will try to move you to the center of the room, and across the center of the room from here is the exit. So you end up just going straight towards the exit. If you try to stand directly below the pipe, then you get pulled in the other direction. That kind of, that's not good. So like right here. Carrion. Oh, you suck. He did that last time too. Or not last time, but he's done that somewhat recently. Japanese is 800 milliseconds faster than Chinese. Damn, I'm missing out on that time save. I consider switching to Japanese because of that. I did see your tests. But I also realized that there's some lines of dialogue where I recognize what they look like. And or just know like when to do certain actions, like when to like jump out of the room. And if I had the different language, I might not recognize it. But you can also recognize it from just the length of the text. Or just like count them. But if you could do tests for Spearmaster and Hunter, that'd be nice. But I'm sure that it's only ever like a difference of a few seconds. Maybe it makes a difference for Spearmaster, because there's like so much dialogue. Yep, you can definitely learn Chinese just by reading dialogue from a game that is like translated. This run is going surprisingly well, but it's still not good, definitely. Don't have high expectations. There's also a fun thing that you can do. During any dialogue, if you pause the game, let the dialogue scroll, and then unpause it to let the next line of dialogue show up, and repeat, it basically pauses the in-game timer, while letting you like get through the dialogue. Cringe strat. I don't think it's allowed. So don't do that. But it can be done. You had a bag of Doritos in your pocket? How does that even work? Like that just doesn't make sense. It's like a huge pocket. Or like is it a very small bag? Crushed Doritos. Oh, okay. That makes more sense. Don't use German. Yeah, that was the slowest one, right? And like English is pretty slow too. Oh, I haven't practiced this as much as I should. Just an inventory. The wall is such a wonderful place to be in a speedrun, if you have a mask. I think that's one of my favorite movements in the game, going up and down. Hello, welcome to the stream. Hoodie face. That's good. I need to ooh. Remember to like eat a lizard. That's not, those aren't lizards. Don't do that. I should have done the funny E slide there. I kind of want to do that consistently now. Terrifying creature. I like didn't know what to do for some reason. Like that guy's echo is broken. Now I might have gotten really lucky in Farm Raise and Sky Islands, but I feel like this run has been pretty chill so far. We'll see. Once they get to like shaded, things might change. mind. Don't talk about shoreline. Nothing bad will happen there. Good shoreline. Am I good here? Why'd you go into that room? Oh. A little bit more food. See, nothing wrong. Oh, this guy kind of is in the way. Yeah. Look, war is the only option with the scavengers. Have you learned anything from playing Artificer? Moon is gonna kill me? Oh no, there's scavengers there, right. That'll be fun. Gosh. Yeah, I could have given them the mask. Could have tried to be nice. It's scary though. Like, do you risk trading when they might just like kill you instead? I've heard that there's a spooky spider here. Eyes wide open. I think I'm lucky. I don't have any items though. Should pick that up. Oh. If I can't see them, they aren't real. Sometimes there can be spiders in these tunnels, and they're really annoying. I feel like I've gotten away with this. Like this isn't supposed to happen. I don't understand why Hunter Runners do this. What? Just run through shaded? Blind? Or referring to something else? And I'm just copying what they do, so it's not my fault, okay? Forward scavengers? Well, your rep is pretty low, right? Maybe not as low as like Spearmaster or Artificer, right? But I don't think you can afford the, like, just one scavenger that doesn't like you and your run is over. Now, of course, you could, you know, you could like try to kill them and then they get mad at you and they kill you because of that, and you're just like causing your own death there. But you can't know in advance whether a scavenger likes you or not. Thank you, random hole in the ground. Now this cycle is actually very short. There's a chance I won't be able to make it very far. Ah, you fall. Oh, hello. Welcome to the stream. Someone who actually runs Hunter Story. Sorry if it looks like I don't know what I'm doing, but it's because I don't. So there can be a Leviathan here. There's no threat. Well, you have to be determined. Yeah, that increased very quickly. We're fine. Want to find an item. There's no items. There's a rock. We saved. Okay, here's the scavengers. Guaranteed. We're chilling. That was really risky. I could have just fallen there. Pretty. I think downpour is common enough. It's not common, but it's not like super unusual. Spirit of Artificer lives on. They tried to move to Shoreline to escape the wrath of Artificer, but they didn't know. Also, I should have been eating some jellyfish. Now, I'm gonna have to go back through this room again, right? They definitely dislike me more than before. He doesn't have a weapon, though. That guy's dead. I might just take a different shelter than normal, because I don't even think I can make it all the way to the sub train. What are you doing up there? Oh, I didn't grab you. Get back here. Yeah, thank you, jellyfish. I know I just ate some of you earlier, but... Okay, I have, like, no time at all. I'm probably gonna need to pick the shoreline shelter that's, like, right here. I think that's a pretty self-descriptive long title. I think I did get grabbed there, actually, but I managed to get into the pipe quickly enough. No, jetfish are definitely not immune to jellyfish. They just think it's sun for that long. That was a snail. So I'm hoping that I should really be able to make it from here to the end without any problems at all. Like there's this one room with like a pool with salamanders. Well, actually no, those are salamanders, not jetfish. I don't know if jetfish go into that little pool, but there's jellyfish in it. Anyway, this isn't a great run, but it'd be cool if I could make it to the end anyway. But subterranean is one of the worst parts. If this jetfish was here still. Fine, we'll find another jetfish. Right here. Yep. There's always a jetfish in this room. I'm pretty sure. It's very likely. Will there be scavengers here? Of course. He has a bomb. Ooh. You go up. No, that's not up. They're dead. Oh, hello? They're stuck. And now the scavenger is be in the way again. He has a bomb though. If he threw that, he'd be really stupid. Get away from me. Now there's hold up, I'm gonna grab a spear. What are you doing down there? He had to find the one place to lose me time, huh? Now there's drop boys over here. And there's chaos. Oh, okay, that's kind of chaotic, I guess. No, my jetfish. Does he still work? By work, I mean make the physics funny. Yes, yes, he does. This is a situation. Centipede, vine lizard, kelp, dropwigs. Make you lag. That is a large specimen. We're fine. Kind of hard to get that backflip though with that little space. Oh, okay. You know what? We're fine. It's only a few rooms left anyway. This is a red centipede. Okay, that was just unfortunate. I almost got out. I think the mole lizard kind of got in the way. That was almost fine. We were almost out of in the clear there. What a funny run. Whoa. What was that? Yeah, Meospurs are weird. They teleport all over the place. Anyway, I think we're done here. I hope that run was representative of the average run and not an outlier. I hope that was not like a lucky run to make it that far. Although from what I've seen from other hunter runners, it might be. That might be a rare case. Whoa, there's a lot of you on Twitch. Hey guys, thanks for watching. I didn't expect like usually just like 3 people on Twitch at most. But I don't mind it. This like Hunter Story had the potential to be really bad. I think maybe it is. We have yet to see fully. You know, remember my first like Spheremaster speedrun was successful, and I was like, this isn't gonna be that bad. So I have no idea really. Am I streaming tomorrow? Yes. It's Friday, right? Yes, I will be streaming tomorrow. I don't think I'll be playing Rain World though, but that might depend. I'll have to think about this a bit, but I have some ideas. I'm a big fan of the very middle of the run with the Vulture Mask because it's like smooth sailing through that whole section. Rubicon is an obscure. Well, if you're watching Oliver's playthrough of Rain World, he and any of his playthroughs really, he actually uses Rubicon somewhat often, probably more often than the average person. Or maybe it's like a, I don't know, like a language thing, but it's funny because he was saying Rubicon like somewhat often, and then he ended up in Rubicon eventually, of course. But anyway, that will be the end of the stream. Thanks everyone for watching. See ya.